Well, it's just gone 7 o'clock. I'm Faith Mangope. This is News Night. I do not travel alone. I'm with sign language interpreter Ntabiseng Ndlovu.
Anyone who is corrupt, Watronko for 15 years.
We want to win.
Support Cyril Ramaphosa as if he is an individual free of political ties. What nonsense is this?
As the last push to woo voters with the DA, COPE and UDM making bold statements. Major water disruptions in Durban were not caused by a bombing. That's according to the eThekwini municipality, setting the record straight. Negotiators for SA photojournalist safe return optimistic after ransom made by kidnappers. And of course, I've got Ronald Masinda who'll be giving us the latest where sports is concerned. What are you following up on this evening, Ronald?
Yes, not only that Mamelodi Sundowns exit from the CAF Champions League, but Orlando Pirates seem to be struggling in terms of try to win that elusive league title. We'll find out how they fared against Cape Town City.
We'll find out more from Ronald Masinda later on in your sports. While the Democratic Alliance promises an economic revolution if the party emerges victorious after the 8th May poll, the official opposition wrapped up its election campaign in Gauteng on Saturday. Party faithful gathered at Soweto's Dobsonville Stadium, where Mmusi Maimane also called on undecided voters to punish the ANC and wake up to the reality of President Cyril Ramaphosa's false dawn.
We need change, and we need it now.
A final push before the big day. DA supporters swamped the Dobsonville Stadium in Soweto, eager to receive the party's message of a new tomorrow.
We know we're going to win. Hi, sir.
To put a job in each and every home.
We are supporting a party that's going to change South Africa, not for the worse, but for the better. Because for past 24 years to 23 years, we were suffering and we didn't get none of our promises so far.
I've come here to support Mmusi Maimane for a change and a better future for our kids.
I vote for the DA. I want our economy to grow.
And when their leader spoke, he stayed on message, with the promise of jobs and economic transformation under a DA government.
I want to reform our economy so that we can break down the walls between the insiders and the outsiders. I want every home in this country to have at least one job. That way, all South Africans will have the dignity of an income and they will know to put food on the table.
Maimane also appealed to those that weren't at the stadium, calling on undecided voters not to empower Cyril Ramaphosa or the ANC, who would eventually end up in bed with the EFF.
They are now even organizing themselves in a new coalition and they are offering each other cabinet posts. I'm here to tell you, if you vote for that guy, you are voting for corruption and a merger with the other people. We are seeing it.
The DA has managed to fill this stadium with supporters that are hungry for the change the party is promising. But on May the 8th, will this translate into the result the official opposition is hoping for? Nicholas Bauer, Dobsonville, Soweto.
While the UDM is calling for a free and fair election on Wednesday, party leader Bantu Holomisa has urged the Independent Electoral Commission to upgrade its security measures to avoid the rigging of votes. Holomisa was speaking at the UDM's final rally in Carltonville.
South Africans demand free and fair election. The world has their eyes on us. Investors are holding money at bay to see what happens. We have heard scary stories of how elections in other countries were rigged through the sophisticated hacking of results. We hope that the IT companies, the IEC has appointed will not fall into this trap. If such a thing should happen, the IEC's independence will mean nothing and our elections would hold no value. We also call on our colleagues in other political parties to watch the IEC like hawks. Voting agents, rather our voting agents, should make arrangements to rotate so that we can always have fresh eyes on the voting processes. We must be especially vigilant when it comes to the marking of the voters' roll to ensure that crooks don't cast more than one vote.
Well, in the capital city, the Congress of the People has welcomed new members from a community the party has labelled as forgotten by government. Some residents from Eersterus, which is a predominantly coloured community, have found a new home in the party. This despite COPE's dismal performance in the 2014 elections, where it bagged only 3 parliamentary seats. Now, the party is hesitant to predict how it will fare in next week's poll, but it's confident of having done the groundwork to produce a better result. Rizan Zutemba has got that story.
Fed up with their community's social ills,
Drugs in Eersterus. That's my main concern in Eersterus.
We have been promised that the country will be a better country, but never.
Eersterus is a place that is forgotten and neglected by the present government.
You are welcome. Now these residents are changing their dial to a new political home.
When it comes to the coloured community, all over here in Gauteng, the same message. They are feeling neglected and they see hope in COPE.
While COPE remains mum on his predictions ahead of the polls, Bloom is confident the party's dismal performance at the last national elections will be reversed.
Our work on the ground, we got open arms reception in all the areas that we have visited.
Bloom says a vote for COPE is a vote for a corruption-free government. And for this reason, he says, he plans to open a case of corruption against ANC Secretary-General Ace Magashule.
Ace is a liar. I know him very well. This is a democratic South Africa. He's no more in the Free State. He is now at national level. He will never come out of that corner. Even if he try, I know he's slippery. I know he's slippery. He is a very slippery person. But this time, there is evidence on him. He must go and wear orange uniform.
Lorenzo Temba, Pretoria.
While still to come on Newsnight, we bring you unfolding news on the negotiations for the safe return of a kidnapped South African photojournalist. Stay tuned. Welcome back. Now, the Mmusi water reservoir has collapsed in Durban, leading to water supply disruptions. KwaZulu-Natal Cocktay MEC Mmusi says this won't have a big impact on the area because there are other reservoirs to supply water. But eThekwini municipality says many communities around the city are affected. Now, it's not clear whether the storm that battered the province caused the collapse.
From the reports that we have is that the reservoir crashed, and as a result of that, water came out. We are on site. The South African police that are, as well as the engineers, both structural engineers and all the engineers are here. They are still doing investigations. At this point in time, we have to wait for the investigators to tell us what could have caused the damage to the reservoir. The collapse of the water reservoir will not have any immediate impact to the communities because there are other reservoirs that are around that still have enough capacity to carry the water to the community.
While more developments have emerged regarding a South African photojournalist kidnapped in Syria, a ransom demand has been made and negotiations are underway with Shiraz Mohammed's family to ensure his safe return. Imtiaz Suleiman of Gift of the Givers is negotiating on the family's behalf. Now, he outlines how talks to remove the $1.5 million ransom demand are progressing.
We got the weekend to look at the video, take it to his family, and in the week the call came. They said, you watched the video, you see Shiraz is alive, now we need to talk about what we want. So we asked, what do you guys want? They said, we want $1.5 million US.
Sure.
For the release of Shiraz. We told them, you guys are crazy. And we said in the beginning, before we met you guys, or spoke to you guys, we've spoken to many other people inside Syria, because everybody's connected to somebody. And we told everybody who called us, and we're telling you now, that Shiraz is not a rich man. He's a freelance journalist. He doesn't run a big company, so he has no means. He doesn't work for a big corporate company. If you think so, that somebody can pay for him. His family is a very poor means. They can't pay. And you know the rule, governments don't pay. So the South African government certainly will not pay. They said, look, you guys go and discuss it, and we will call you again. A few days later, they called. We said, your price is incredible. Nobody can pay that kind of price. They said, it's negotiable.
Technology and innovation was one of the key talking points at this year's Africa Travel Indaba, which wrapped up in Durban today. Virtual reality is fast becoming a marketing tool of choice for the tourism industry. Reporter Mawande Keso files this report.
Virtually visiting a place and trying out an activity before actually going there is taking tourism to the next level for prospective customers.
It's one thing to be told, it's another to experience. So the nice thing about virtual reality is that it affords us an opportunity to actually showcase virtually what those experiences look like.
But how exactly does it work?
By applying a virtual reality headset on the head, they're looking at about a 110-degree point of view and a visual peripheral experience. So adding some sound effects to that and putting them on a pizza apparatus, you take away their sensors and those core sensors that actually control their thought process, feeling process, as well as sound process. Putting them onto that contraption gives them a very realistic feel of what it's like to be in that in real life.
Potential tourism buyers who experience it firsthand are sold.
I don't know where exactly to do this, but I just want to be there right now. It's just cool. I think it's this type of things and bungee jumping that I want to do. And this will just give me a bit of a feel, man, how it is in the real life.
More and more service providers are welcoming technology into their businesses.
VR, certainly from a ziplining canopy tour perspective, gives people a great insight to what they're going to do. They're able to look around and enjoy the view and get a kind of a feel for it. Good enough as opposed to just standing at a stand and someone giving you a brochure and saying this is a cool thing. This takes it to another level. So I think it definitely adds value to our businesses.
But how does one access this technology from the comfort of their own home?
You can dump onto YouTube VR and pretty much watch anything that you want to in 360 degree through your cell phone, your mobile. So that's basically an orientation platform where you would take up your mobile and you would move your mobile as if you were looking through it through a pair of headsets.
With innovation continuously making travel more accessible, I couldn't pass up the opportunity to try it on myself. Mawande Keso, Durban.
Well, after the break, we've got Annette Fento standing by with your latest weather details. Stay with Newsnight.
Welcome to the Weather Center. Throughout Saturday, we had cloud-free skies dominating the weather across the bulk of the country, but we also had a thick layer of high-level clouds streaming into the southwestern areas, and further east, a southeasterly breeze has been driving rain-bearing clouds into parts of the Eastern Cape and KwaZulu-Natal, where it has been rather chilly with a fairly wet weather over those parts of the country. Now, we're going to start off Sunday with this thick layer of high-level clouds hanging around the Western Cape, and further east, light rain and drizzle can be expected for the Eastern Cape, coastal coastal areas, parts of KwaZulu-Natal, Eastern Mpumalanga, and parts of the Limpopo province. But it gets dry for those areas as we head towards the afternoon hours, leaving us with lots of sunshine across the eastern sections. Over the western areas, we will continue to see the high-level clouds streaming into much of western South Africa and persisting way into your Sunday night. Now, we are going to have light to moderate winds across the eastern half of the country, northeasterlies for the KZN coastal areas, an easterly breeze for East London and Port Elizabeth, a southerly airflow for the Cape Peninsula, and fresh to strong winds are forecast for parts of the Northern Cape and the western parts of the Free State. Now, we are going to see patches of high-level clouds on Sunday for much of the Northern Cape. It's going to be warm to hot in most areas, clear skies for Uppington with a high of around 33 degrees. It's going to be partly cloudy with a thick layer of high-level clouds across much of the Western Cape, where most areas will see top temperatures in the lower 20s. Hot, however, for Vredendal, hitting the 30-degree mark on Sunday afternoon. Partly cloudy skies are also forecast for the Southern Cape areas, where it's going to be cool to mild. A bit of rain in the morning for Port Elizabeth, warming to 19 degrees. We're also going to see light rain in the morning for the Eastern Cape coastal areas and the Adjacent interior, partly cloudy, dry and warm for the northern parts of the province. In KwaZulu-Natal, we could also see a few sprinkles of rain for the first part of the day. It's going to be warm to hot in the afternoon for much of the province. We're also going to start off Sunday with a light rain and drizzle for Eastern Mpumalanga. It will be mostly sunny and pleasantly warm for the western areas. Drizzly conditions are also forecast on Sunday morning for Eastern Limpopo, dry for Polokwane, warming to around 24 degrees. A sunny one is forecast for the northwest, where top temperatures in the mid to upper 20s are expected. We're also going to see lots of sunshine for much of the Free State, Bloemfontein, peaking at around 26 degrees. It will be cloud-free as well for Gauteng, where highs around 25 are forecast for Vereeniging and Johannesburg, and Pretoria peaks at around 27 degrees. On Monday, we are going to see sunny and warm to hot weather over the northeastern areas. It will be partly cloudy for the rest of the country with light rain for Port Elizabeth and East London. Then on Tuesday, we stay with partly cloudy skies for western South Africa. It will be mostly sunny and warm to hot for the eastern sections.
Well, of course, that was a news night with myself, Faith Mangope, alongside a sign language interpreter, Ntabiseng Ndlovu. Have a great evening.